In this unit, we will take a look at board measure. As seen in Unit 19, lumber can be purchased in linear feet. This can include, but not limited to, inches, feet, yards, and metric, meters, centimeters, millimeters, etc. But there's another type of measurement called board measure, and the unit is board feet. A board foot is defined as the equivalent of a piece of wood measuring 1 foot wide, 1 foot long, and 1 inch thick. And so it's really about the volume of wood that is in this size of a board. To calculate the board measure in any quantity or piece of lumber, use the formula that board feet is equal to thickness, which must be measured in inches, width, which must be measured in feet, and length, which must be measured in feet. And so that's why I have drawn this diagram that has thickness in inches, and that's right there, and width in feet, and length in feet. Now we're not always given the measurements in those units, so there will be some converting that has to be done. Let's take a look at some examples. The first thing we need to note, though, is that board measure problems are figured using nominal dimensions of thickness and width. Lumber less than 1 inch thick is counted as a full inch. And so for thickness, if you're given a board that is measured 1/2 inch thick, we would have to use 1 inch for the board foot measurement. Standard thicknesses are 1 inch, 5/4 of an inch or 1 1/4, 6/4 of an inch or 1 1/2, and then 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and so on, being every even number of inches. Standard widths are 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, and then we stick with evens, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, and 12 inches. For other widths or thicknesses, count the next standard dimension above the exact desired dimension. So for example, if we have a width of 7 inches, which would fit right in here, then we should count it as 8 inches. All right. So let's take a look at an example. Find the number of board feet in this piece of lumber shown, and it's drawn but not drawn to scale, so keep that in mind. So this piece of lumber measures 3/4 of an inch thick down here, and 6 inches wide, and 4 feet long. So remember that the thickness must be in inches, and if it's less than 1 inch, we must count it as 1 inch. So thickness will be 1 inch. The width is given in inches here, but our formula tells us that width should be in feet. So instead of 6 inches, it is 6/12 of a foot. Okay, so take your inches divided by 12 and you will turn it into feet. And then the length is 4 feet. The formula for board feet then is thickness times width times length. And this measures 2 board feet. Here's another way to picture it. So here a board foot, standard board foot is 1 foot wide by 1 foot long by 1 inch thick. This is only 1/2 foot wide. So if we were to do this with the diagram, instead of our 4 feet long, which would be there to there, if I cut off here and place it into here to make it 1 foot wide, which is 2 by 6 inches, and my 3/4 of an inch, which we round up to 1, this measures 2 board feet, right? Because the length then is 2. 1 board foot would be halfway. Okay, for some practice, find the number of board feet in the following quantities. Have a look at this one. And what you want to do is make sure that you are using the right thickness for the standard thicknesses and the right width for the standard widths and the width in feet. So it's not just a matter of multiplying these three numbers together. It's 1 inch, so that's a standard thickness. We will measure 1 inch. And it's 4 inches wide. Now, 4 inches is okay for width, but we need to do that in feet, so this is 4/12 of a foot. And it's 6 feet long. So let's type that into the calculator. And there are different ways you can do it. You can use a fraction key, but what I find works quite nicely is 1 times 4 times 6 divided by 12. Just do the division by 12 last. Okay, and 4 times 6, 24, so it's 2 board feet. Okay, here's another one for you to try. Pause the video and give that one a try. All right, so 3 inches is a standard thickness. That's fine. 6 inches is a standard width, but it has to be put in as 6/12. And 10 feet, that's fine. So let's do 3 times 6/12 times 10. Three times 6 times 10 divided by 12. And this one will be 15 board feet. All right, here's another one. Remember to check for standard thicknesses and widths before you just jump ahead and use the formula. So we have 8 pieces of 2 inch thick. That's a standard thickness. 9 inch wide, not standard. So we will have to put it up to 10 inch and put it over 12 and 10/12 of a foot and 12 feet long. So this will be 8 times, because we have 8 pieces of this. And now our thickness, 2 times our width, 10/12 times 12. And that will be 160. (160) board feet. Give this one a try. Pause the video and give it a try. All right, so this would be equal to 5 times, because we have 5 pieces of this. Now thickness, 1.5 inches. Now 6/4 was one of the standard thicknesses, and 6/4 is equal to 1.5. So 1.5, if I want to use it as a decimal, and multiply by, now with 10 inches, that is one of the standard widths, so 10 will go in there, and it's over 12 because we need to put it in feet, and 16 feet. So if we grab the calculator, 5 times 1.5 times 10 times 16 divided by 12. And that is equal to 100 board feet. Let's take a look at another one. I will let you give this one a try, so pause the video and try this one. Okay, so we have one piece. We don't need to multiply by 1, but I'm just writing that 1 in there. 3/4 inch thickness. Now that is less than an inch, so we must round it up to 1 inch. And 5 inches wide, well, that's not one of our standard widths, so that should round up to 6. Wait a minute, let me double check that. Is 5 in the standard widths? Maybe I remembered that wrong for a second. Just going back there. Yes it is. We don't have to change that. Okay, so my mistake there. We'll keep it as 5, but it's over 12 to turn it into feet, and we will multiply by 8. So this is 3 1/3 board feet, or 3.3 repeated board feet. Okay, I think I have one last one for you here. Try this one. Pause the video and calculate, checking on standard thicknesses and widths. All right, so this will be equal to 3 because we have 3 pieces of this. 2 inches thick, that's a standard thickness, so times 2. Times 7 inches wide, that is not a standard width. This will turn into 8, and it's 12 because this 7 inches rounded up to 8 inches should be changed into feet, so that's 8/12 of a foot times 8. And that is 32 board feet. Okay, so there is some practice in the book in Unit 27. I'm going to say just focus on these 4 questions in there. The ones after that become a little more complicated. If you really want to have a look at it, that's fine, but in terms of what I will expect from you, I really just want you to have an understanding of the definition of board feet, how to calculate board feet, and this will give you that practice. Thanks for watching.